All rights reserved with Yolanda Taylor on Choice.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Yolanda Taylor with All Rights Reserved. Get your cup of coffee, get your tea, get whatever it is you need on Saturday morning because you don't want to miss this conversation. And I need you to lean in. So, who is checking on men? We're about to have a very important conversation here. We tell men to be strong. We tell men to provide. We tell men to protect, right? But what happens when the protector is hurting? But what happens when a father may be carrying a wound that he never had an opportunity to heal? Across America, we are seeing young men struggle with isolation, maybe depression, anger, violence, substance abuse, and a lack of positive male reinforcement. We see the headlines, we see the statistics, we see the consequences. But today we're going to go beyond the headlines. We're talking about healing fathers and saving families. We're going to talk about how ways that we can strengthen families with our special guest, of course. Joining us this morning, guys, Dr. Glen Warren is with us. He is the founder of Fathers Forever, a nationally respected fatherhood advocate and former mental health crisis counselor who has spent decades helping men reconnect with their children and reclaim their purpose. So stay with us. This is a conversation every parent, every grandparent, mentor, educator, faith leader, and community advocate needs to hear. Welcome, Dr. Glen Warren. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio before we get started. Again, he's a retired Wake County Human Service mental health crisis counselor who spent more than 2 decades out here helping individuals navigate all types of mental health crises. As a single father who successfully raised 3 children into adulthood, he transformed his personal experiences into a mission to help other fathers become active, engaged, and emotionally healthy parents. In 2008, he founded Fathers Forever, an organization dedicated to helping fathers reconnect with their children, strengthen their families, and transform communities. Dr. Warren is also an author, he's a speaker, he's a mentor, and a nationally respected advocate for fatherhood engagement, whose work is guided by a simple, powerful mission: healing fathers, strengthening families. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Glen Warren to All Rights Reserved. Hey, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, great. It's so good to have you here today. We hear a lot about mental health generally, but not enough about men's health. What are you seeing among men today?
As a man, obviously myself, and been working in the field of men for over 3 decades, I found that a lot of men, we bury our mental health. We've been taught most of our lives to figure it out yourself. We don't ask for help a lot of times until we are really, at our wits' end. And so we have been buried, and that's been taught to us from a child. When we fall and skin our knees, as little boys, we're told to tough it up, get up, stop crying, stop being a little girl. Little Sue fall down, she hurt her legs. We pick her up, we kiss the boo-boo, and we tell her it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But when little Jimmy fall down, we tell him to suck it up. We also tell him another deeper thing. We tell him, you're not hurting. Blood is running down my leg. Blood is the indication there's some pain there.
Yes.
But you're telling me at an early age to deny my pain. So that's what I'm doing. So I learned that as a little child is when I'm hurting, not to ask for help, but to bury that pain. And we grow up, and then when we get our first girlfriend, the first thing she tells us is, I want to see you cry. Y'all know how y'all do us.
Yeah.
I want you to get in touch with your emotions.
Yes.
So now we're confused. You're telling me all my life not to cry, Now you telling me to cry. Now, as little boys, we do have to, as men, we have to stand up and we have to, go sometimes in the middle of the night, we shaking in our boots to go to the door and find out what's going on. In the face of fear, we have to stand up and be strong. But there's other times that we need to be vulnerable and we need that safe place where we can get help in a time of need.
Wow, that's deep. I've heard a little bit about like how we tell little boys not to cry, but I didn't really think about the part that we tell them also,
You're not hurting.
Yeah, wow, that's deep. So why do you think then, and you may have talked a little bit about it, but why do you think so many men today are reluctant to even seek help?
Because of number one, that factor, and number four is I can figure it out myself. I don't need your help. I'm tough, and we try to figure it out ourselves. And we, as men, sometimes we don't seek help until the bottom falls out.
Yeah.
Again, because that's and sometimes if I ignore it, it'll go away. And a lot of times that's the perspective that we have, and we don't go to the doctor, especially mental health. The stigma, we go to our friends and they tell us, they give us their opinion about what to do and how to do it, and they're hurting as well.
Yes.
And so suicidal rate among men has gone up. It used to be 7 out of 9, 70% of men commit, 70% of people commit suicide is men. Now it's 80%.
Wow.
That means 8 out of 10 people who commit suicide, 8 of them are men.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's because we don't tell people that we're hurting. We don't show people that we're going to the press. All of a sudden, one day we wake up and you read about us and we done committed, we done shot ourselves, we done did something crazy. And we say, I just saw Jimmy down the street yesterday. He didn't seem to be oppressed, but we've been taught our life to bury our pain, and that's what we are master at.
Wow. So with those high statistics, though, is more education is needed, you think, amongst men to persuade them to seek help?
Yes. One of the things, when I first became a crisis, and I tell this story a lot, and I remember every time I try to get emotional, but here I am doing my first assessment of a mental health client. And this guy is a big, burly guy, about 300 pounds. And I'm doing his assessment. So I'm asking him about his life. I asked him about his father. And when I did, the floodgates opened up. And this guy's crying like a baby. And the first thing I did was reached over and got a box of tissue, and I shoved it in his face. And afterwards, my supervisor, who was training me, she asked me, she said, why did you give him that tissue box? And I said, he was crying. He had, stuff running out his nose.
Yeah.
And she said, why did you really give him that tissue box? It bothers me. So she said, well, don't worry about it. In the morning, I'll go home. You go home tonight, and in the morning, you think about it. So I got up today, about 3 o'clock that morning, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The reason why I gave him that tissue box, as a therapist, I was telling him to shut up, stop crying. Oh, wow. Big men don't do that. We don't cry like that. And so I asked her, what should have I done? She said, you could have got it and put it on the table. Let him come and get it. But when you put it in his face, you're telling him. So society has taught us.
Yeah. The subconscious thinking, right?
Yes. That don't show our emotions. And we become experts of not showing our emotions. That's why sometimes we can quit on a marriage and our wife don't even know it until one day we walk out. And she'll say overnight. Well, it didn't happen overnight. He's been done a long time ago. You just didn't know it because we've mastered the art of being quiet.
And you know what? This makes me think about my father, right? He's a baby boomer. I've only seen him cry once,
Exactly.
and that was when his father passed away.
Right.
And he's 80, going on 81.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so sometimes when I share stories, when I get emotional and I, in the show and I start to tear up, afterwards I beat myself up. I was like, you big crybaby, why are you crying? Because it's a stigma. Even now, as I know men are supposed to cry, God gave us tear ducts.
Yes.
Just like he gave other women tear ducts. And those tear ducts are he's supposed to cry. And again, we have to be tough, but also we have to be able to let those emotions out. And crying is one of the ways we could do it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because emotions are meant to be expressed,
Released.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's gonna, swell up, and it's gonna come out in other places like depression, substance abuse, or having babies all over the place because you got to feel like I'm worth something.
Okay, let's stop there. So having babies all over the place, that's a deeper issue.
Yeah, because we feel validated as a man.
Okay.
Somebody accepted me. So yes, that's a part of it.
Wow, I never thought about
That's
that.
a part of it.
Women, ladies, y'all hear that? That's a deeper issue.
And then sometimes, and the system don't help that either.
Yeah.
A man come home from prison. Oh, he can't go back and live with his wife now because he's a felon. So if he do go back and spend the night, at 6 o'clock in the morning, he's got to be out of the house. Because the caseworker comes in and he's there, they're going to cut off the substance.
Wow.
So he taught, the only thing I'm good for is to having babies.
Yeah.
Because at 6 o'clock in the morning, I got to get out of this house.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. How the system, you're talking about like low income housing,
Yes.
subsidy
because,
housing.
when he comes home, he's a fella now. And she's receiving food stamps and all this other stuff, and she's receiving a voucher for her housing.
Yes.
But you can't have a felon live in that house.
Yes.
So she wants, she wants him, he wants her, but he can't live there. So he could come there at nighttime, but in the morning at 6 o'clock, before the caseworker come, he's got to be gone, and no evidence that he's been there.
Wow. And that's, in a sense, that leads to the destruction of the family, right?
Exactly.
Okay, wow. Well, as a former mental health crisis counselor, I know you told a story about, you yourself had to deal with subconsciously telling a man not to cry. But what did you learn? What are the warning signs, in addition to crying, that families maybe who are listening today should watch out for in a man that they love,
If he comes secluded, if he comes angry for apparently no reason sometimes, he feel isolated, or he's over emotional, not in crying way, but it's like the least little thing sets him off. And he's constantly angry and irritable. There's a sign that something is not right.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of times you won't see him cry. That's the first thing you're going to see. And he looks strong, but deep down, he's and a lot of times people don't realize this. I write a story called The Quiet Storm. Growing up in the country, we had an old house, it had a tin roof, and when the rain come, it sounded like the whole house was.
Yeah.
But my mama would tell us, go cut the lights off, unplug the thing, because there's a storm coming. And lo and behold, off in the distance, you see the thunder, you see the lightning, and then all of a sudden the rain falls. But the quiet storm comes when you don't see it coming.
Wow.
You don't see the rain. You don't hear it. You don't see the thunder. But the storm coming nevertheless. Wow. Men sometimes is a quiet storm. Wow. There's no preparation. Wow. You don't see the lightning. You don't hear the thunder. They say, the bottom fell out. Wow. And we are not prepared because we are taught so many times to bury our pain.
And it sounds like not only does the loved ones or the family, they don't see this quiet storm. It seems like maybe the man who was dealing with it.
A lot of times we don't see it either. We don't see it either. We bury out. I could tell stories about one guy that I'll make this real short, but he was, and we was doing one of our classes, and he was talking about his kids. We had a daughter and a son, and the daughter he had a good relationship with before he went to prison. And after he got out of prison, he obtained, he still got a relationship. His 14-year-old son, he hadn't seen him since he went to prison 7 years ago. So he talked about his daughter so much, so happy. And one day in class, I just had this, because I'm a social worker, I'm trained to ask questions.
Yeah.
I just asked the question, do you have any more kids? And when I did, he looked off. He stopped looking at me, he looked away. That's an indication to me that something's hiding.
Yeah.
So I deep a little bit deeper now. I know he either got a son or a daughter. So I just guessed. Tell me about your son. And when I did, the bottom fell out.
Wow.
This guy just boo-hooed and cried. Wow. And he finally got together and he said, I got a 14-year-old son that I haven't seen in 7 years. He's a junior. He buried that pain so deep So oftentimes it's the pain that we bury that we don't want to talk about. We could talk about, he talked about his other daughter.
Yeah.
But the one that caused him the most pain, the one that kept causing him to use over and over and over again, they kept calling him to reoffend, is the pain of his son that they haven't seen in 7 years.
So you just said something deep. So pain and undealt with pain also, it sounds like it's connected to recidivism.
It is.
Or,
It is.
And repeat offenses.
It is.
Okay.
Because the trauma that we don't deal with is going to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
Often it comes out in our substance abuse because we are depressed.
Yeah.
But instead of getting mental health services like we need, we go to substance abuse, which causes other problems.
Yeah.
So now we lose a job, but we connected now to this alcohol, to this drugs, to this meth, and we're addicted. So now we got to go get this drug, which leads to criminal behavior, because I got to break into somebody's house to steal something.
Yeah.
But it all sometimes boiled down to the beginning of it, of depression, unresolved trauma that nobody have tapped into, that now is spilled out in all the areas of his life.
Wow. That is so deep. So it sounds like that depression in men is misunderstood.
It is.
Because it does not always look like
It
sadness.
doesn't, exactly.
Does not
It doesn't
like
always
sadness.
look like, but a lot of times it often is.
Wow.
And the whole stigma about getting therapy, the whole stigma about sitting down, seeing a psychiatrist or talking to somebody, that whole stigma is not wanted. It's not, especially in African American men.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is there a culture,
That's-
race difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially in African American men. As in general, we don't like to ask for help. But for some reason, African American men, it's even a greater challenge sometimes to ask for help. Because, our ancestors, we were strong. We survived slavery. We survived all this stuff.
Yes.
We can make it. But often we need help to help us get on the right track.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're right. I mean, society also places its own barriers and trauma on us, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about some of the trauma, and I know your mission is healing fathers. Can you go a little deeper about how unresolved trauma plays out in fatherhood?
So we have a 12-week evidence-based fatherhood program. We just found out. We've been teaching this program for 18 years.
Okay.
One of our funders about a year and a half ago, we went to them and said, we got a good program. We know it's good. We want you to do a study on it to see if it's evidence-based.
Okay.
They did. And they came back with some glorious results.
Oh, wow.
And out of 4 categories, the highest that you could score in each one of them is 5. We scored a 4 in all of them.
Wow.
Which we got now a high evidence-based program that our program works.
It works.
And it makes a difference because we touch in areas of people's lives that they understand. Sometimes concepts and theory go over people's heads.
Yeah.
It sounds good,
I can see that.
but how can I apply that to my life? But our story-based learning, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. But our story-based learning style allow men to understand the concepts and the principles. And when they get it, the light bulb comes on. And when they do, their behavior change.
And that helps them as far as
It helps.
actively participating in their children's lives.
Because when the light bulb comes, we call it an abracadabra moment.
Okay.
Because when the light bulb come on, their whole behavior changed.
Wow.
They go from sitting back like this, angry, mad, to sitting up, engaging.
Wow.
And now they realize, number one, I'm not in this alone. And number two, my kids do need me.
Yeah.
I could be a good father. I do. And when God tell me I don't know how to be a good dad because I didn't have a dad, I said, that's BS. You do know how to be a dad. You need to be reminded of who you are, your purpose. But it's inherited in you. It ain't nothing you got to come up with. God put that in you when you were born.
And that's deep because a lot of men do think because they didn't have a father.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I
they
said,
don't have a role model.
no. Now, he wasn't there. I'm sorry he wasn't there. And you could go out and you can have a fit, kick a tree, get that out of your system. Stop blaming him for him not being there. You can't go back and undo that. I don't know what. Stop judging him because sometimes the same thing you judge him for, you end up doing yourself.
Well, that is so deep, Dr. Warren, for you to say that the same way women, like, who may never had a child, has a baby, and all of a sudden you intuitively know how to be a mother. You're saying God has done the same thing for men.
Same thing, exactly.
That's deep. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
deep.
And a lot of times we think this is so, it ain't rocket science stuff.
Yes.
But we make it so.
We make it so deep.
Deep.
Yeah, and wow. So you've been able to unpack all these things in the men that you've been able to treat and help. So for women, right? A lot of women, they love to get on social media. They love to say, like you said, they want to see men be emotionally present. So is it possible? I think a lot of women will say yes, that a man could be physically present, y'all, but emotionally absent.
Absolutely.
And why?
It's because we have learned to shut down our emotion and still be physically there.
Wow.
Now that could be a strength because you could be unshakable in things in your life. That could serve you well.
Yeah.
That you're not so emotional that you give away to all your emotions. That can serve you well, but it also flip the switch. It can do more damage than good as well because you're hurting so much, but you learn how to shut it down that nobody knows that you're hurting, which is dangerous. Because if I know that you're hurting, I can offer you some solutions. But if you look strong to me, and I have no idea that you're going through that, I'm just going to say, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. And you get on. But deep down, I am at a point of no return almost. And I'm ready to commit suicide. I'm ready to end it all. And when men do commit suicide, we don't cut our wrists and go to sleep in a bathtub. We want to make sure we're not failing at killing ourselves. Because one of the worst things is I try to commit suicide and I fail.
Yeah.
That's even worse than
Wow. Yeah.
So we do something horrendous, like blow your brains out, jump out in front of a car, because I don't want to. I'm done with life. But I don't want to feel like killing myself. And let me go do it, and I will never let you know that it's going to happen. Next thing you know, you read about it.
And what do you think that some of the recent headlines that we've seen where like men not only have committed suicide, but before committing suicide, they kill their wives? Is that connected? Or
because the anger is so deep. The anger is so real.
Wow.
And it didn't just happen. It's been going on for a while. And we just...
It's been building up.
Yep, and we just flip, and when we do, it's horrendous things that happen. For not only do you kill yourself, but we read in the people were they didn't just kill themselves, but the family and the kids and
kids too,
and
the
wives.
Headlines.
Yeah.
So what can a woman do, especially like a strong woman? Because like you have an alpha male, you have an alpha woman. Like what can a strong woman, Black woman do? To be, I guess, a better, compassionate wife, friend, significant other to a man who they think, because they're there, may not be. Like, what advice would you give women?
Listening to him, not sometimes what he say, but what he doesn't say. We don't need a mother. Yes. I don't need you to tell me everything that I need to figure out. I don't need you to figure out stuff for me. I can figure it out myself. I need you to be nurturing.
Yes.
But I don't need you to feel like you got to tell me everything to do. And so be understanding, be patient, allow me to be me, allow me, follow me, and I tell guys, if you want your wife to lead, if you want to be a leader, if you want to follow, you got to be a good leader as well.
Yeah.
Some of our wives won't follow us to the bathroom because we haven't established any kind of leadership.
Yes, and I think women want men to be leaders.
Exactly, they want men to be leaders, but don't be overpowering. Where, and I know you've been on your own. You raised 3 kids on your own, and now you got a husband, and now you want to mother him. He don't need another mother.
Okay. Women, y'all hear that?
He need a
Men
wife.
do not need another mother.
Right.
They need a wife. And I'm speaking to myself. Men do not need another mother. They need a wife. Right. And you say they need to be listened to.
Yes.
The things that they say.
Right.
And the things that they don't say.
Exactly.
Wow. So what inspired you to create Fathers Forever? Was it the work you were doing as a counselor?
I grew up in a household with my dad. It was 7 of us. My dad had a 4th grade education. My mom and dad, they were married for 55 years before both of them passed within 6 months of one another. So I had a good family life. We were broke, we were poor, but nobody told us that.
Wow.
There was never no
Never
abuse in our family. My mom, they raised 7 kids. My dad was high on education. He put 5 of us through a 4-year college, even on his little salary. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. So I had a good family life.
Sounds like it.
I went to school, got married, and started working as a social worker. Went to school to be a coach teacher, PE teacher. I did that, taught school for a little while, and I ended up in the mental health field. Don't know how all that came around, but I ended up in the mental health field. Kind of went back to school. The county taught me a lot. And then, and becoming a mental health specialist, a lot of my clients, both men and women, they're adults. And when I sit down and did the biosocial, one of the things that was unchecked, one of the boxes that was unchecked in the application, the biosocial, was fatherhood. Wow. A lot of them, that box was unchecked.
Wow.
They didn't know who their father were. Wow. They got mental illness. Well, not just I'm not talking about the clinical.
Okay.
But, the depression, substance abuse, anger management, all of that stuff was part of their bringing up. Anger, all this stuff. So I got that, which was totally different from my bringing. My dad was in my house life. Their dad wasn't in their life. And there was a stark difference. You could see their life, and a lot of times the decision they was making was out of substance abuse and pain that was birthed sometimes for the lack of fathers. Wow. Yeah. And I decided I wanted to, and then after 15 years of marriage, my marriage ended. So I became a single father. And my kids were 7, 9, and 11. And after we kind of separated, I was like, my kids are going to stay with me. Yeah. And I became a single father. It was a decision that we made that I was like, my kids are going to stay with me. They're not going to be statistics. I grew up in a household with my dad. My kids are staying with me.
So do you think you were able to make that decision because you had a role map?
Absolutely.
And a blueprint?
Yes. I grew up in a household with my dad. I saw the good.
Yes.
I worked in the system for 20 years. I saw the bad. And I did not want that for my kids. So I was like, okay, y'all come and live with me. And then after that, I decided that I wanted to do something to help men, to help fathers not to do to their kids what their father did to them.
Wow, yeah.
And that's how Father Forever got started.
And the father could be in the home too, but be broken.
Yes.
And can create more trauma, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And the other thing to that is the flip side of the script is, and we get this from the media a lot.
Yes.
Black fathers, men of color, and fathers in general, especially men of color, we get the short end of the stick with the media because they paint the picture that a lot of us are not present.
Yeah, they do.
My son is a barber, and he cut hair 6 days a week. And he said, I see a total different picture because every single day I see men bringing their kids in, not only their kids, but their nephews, their grandkids, their neighbors. That this false narrative that men, black men, don't take care of their kids, it's a lot of times it's pushed by the media.
By the media.
And it's not true. Now, we do know there's a whole lot of people out there not doing that. Absolutely.
Yes.
But there's a whole lot of men.
And that could be in any race, though.
Exactly.
I mean, there's some broken families, you know, in the white race, Asian race. So that could be any race.
Yeah. But sometimes black people, black and brown, especially black people, get the
we do.
We get the thick signal with that. Just
they love to say that single mom, single black mom.
Exactly.
Yeah, They're assumed.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a single black mom.
Right. The fathers are not in there.
The father is absent.
Right.
But whether or not the mom and the father are together, I mean, like you were saying, fathers are still and want to still be actively engaged in the lives of their children,
and they can be, and they are a lot of them.
Yeah. So that's good. So we just debunked that myth, right? It's so amazing that you created Fathers Forever. I think this is so beautiful. So in doing this work, what do you think? I mean, I think we've talked about these common barriers that actually keep fathers disconnected. One, the lie that they can't be a father.
Yes.
Are there any other barriers you want to talk about?
Especially incarcerated fathers.
Yes.
90% of men coming home from prison are fathers. That means 9 out of 10 men. We just had an event.
Yeah, let's talk about your event.
This week.
Okay.
I wrote a book called Bringing Him All the Way Home.
Wow.
One of 3 books that I've written about fatherhood. And the theory is the concept is when men come home from prison, people in general for that matter, we show them how to get jobs, which is they got to get jobs.
Yes.
We try to help them find a place to stay. We got to get stable housing. We help them be compliant with their parole officer, but we don't help them reconnect with their kids. So we leaving a part of him still incarcerated because of the shame, the guilt that he's coming home now. And oftentimes the mom may not necessarily welcome him back to the house.
Yeah.
He's probably done some stuff, that's crazy stuff. And as part of that is she maybe protecting her kids for what he's been in and out of prison. So she want to protect them.
Yeah.
So now he's got to navigate how I can get back in my kid's life. And if she makes it too difficult to him, he'll say, you know what, I'll just wait until I get 18. So the guilt and the shame of not being there for my kids, and that burden, that grief carries inside of him. And though he doesn't, again, we've learned to bury our pain.
Yeah.
And so you never know sometimes what's going on inside of him. At night when he can't sleep, he's worrying about his son or his daughter. And he's disconnected because the pain is too bearable.
And I'm sure it's painful for a father to even imagine another man stepping in and taking his place as a father, right?
Yes.
Dude, that got to
or get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, your son or daughter, but now sons too, but your daughter has been raped by the stepmom or stepfather or a stranger. And you wonder if I could have been there, what would have happened if I would have been present?
So what would you say to a man who might be listening this morning or listening to the rerun of this episode on podcast and he's disconnected from his child because maybe he, like you say, were formerly impacted by the judicial system and you want to bring him all the way home? What will you say to a listener that's listening to this?
Anybody, not just the guy coming home from prison, but especially him.
Yes.
But the guys who never been to prison.
Oh, yeah.
And him and his wife are disconnected. And they having issues with that. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with her anymore. I'm just going to wait until they get 18. Or it's been difficult for me so I tell them, there is a way you can connect with your kids. There's a way to do it. And a lot of times I tell our guys, there's 2 types of fights. Either we're fighting for something or we're fighting against something. Most of the time, the men are fighting against the wives. They're fighting against the system. And stop that fight. Start fighting for the rights of your child. That's a different kind of fight. So once you start fighting, this means now you got to go in your toolbox and bring out some more tools. Because you're fighting against something, that's a different fight. Stop fighting the system, you're never going to win. And sometimes you fight her, you're not going to win. But start fighting for the rights to be a good father. When you do that, the game changes. Because now you don't show up at court to be this mad, angry dude with the mom, but ain't no judge going to give you custody of your child when you show up acting like, you this mad guy. But when you show up intelligently, smart, dressed right, and say, Your Honor, all I want to do is spend time with my kids. Yes, I made some bad choices, and I learned from my choices. Another thing is, we tell guys, stop calling bad choices mistakes. It's what we do all the time, not just us. But politicians do it all the time. This guy, he's a politician, and he got up and had an affair with his wife, and he stood up and he said, I just wanted to tell my wife I'm sorry, and all the people around you that you voted for me, I'm sorry for my mistakes. And I say, no, guy, dude, you need to be in our class. And I asked the guy, there's a difference between a mistake and a choice. They're not one and the same. there's a difference. A mistake is I accidentally stepped on your toe. That's a mistake. A choice is I made a choice knowing what the outcome could be. And I ask the guys a lot of times, they say, Mr. Glenn, I made a lot of mistakes. Tell me what your mistakes is. I got a DUI. That's not a mistake, dude. I break and entering. That's not a mistake. That's the choice. But why do we all call bad choices mistakes?
Is it because of
We don't want to take accountability.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Because after all, everybody make mistakes.
Yes.
But when I realized that I am today, not probably because of my mistakes, but because of my choices, and I realized that, then I got to take accountable ownership of what my life is. That because if I don't like the way my life is now, then I realized I probably got here because of my choices.
Yeah.
And that's what you mean. What? I'm gonna change my choices now.
Yes.
So we do a lot of soul searching about, making bad choices and making mistakes.
And I like that part about, the reason why we have to identify them, and that can preach to women too, but identify them as bad choices versus mistake, because one, we are accountable.
Exactly.
And then when you're accountable, you might not make that mistake again.
You stop blaming people.
Yeah, and blaming others.
I'm responsible for my own life. And that's one of the things, that's the abracadabra moment.
Yeah.
That it kind of, opens the guy's eyes that, you know what, I can probably fix some of this stuff that's happened in my life. And sometimes it takes a while for us to dig ourselves out of the hole that we dug ourselves in. But if you keep making the right choices, eventually you're going to get out of that hole.
Yeah, you will. You definitely will. And there's always a second chance. And I know some people want the law.
Third, fourth, fifth,
the law
sixth.
only wants to give you a second chance when it comes to like expungements and things like that.
Yes.
But in reality, God gives a second, third, fourth, fifth,
30, 50,
sixth.
yes, all kind of choices. Yeah, and we have an opportunity to get it right over and over and over again. And when we start making good decisions, that changes. Yeah. I don't know if I asked it. What was the other question you asked me? I can't remember.
It was about, if a listener was listening and that person was wondering, what was one thing you would tell them that they can do today to reconnect?
Find out, how you can get it back involved in your child's life. And take step by step. There's the right way to get back in your child's life. File for this visitation. If you don't have a place, got a place for them to stay, start out with visitation. And then go before a judge and say, hey, and again, show up well-dressed, well-informed, and tell the judge, I'm going to get back into my kid's life. And a lot of times women, for a lot of reasons, don't allow the men to come back in. And both parents beat the other parent with the child. The child become the switch.
Yeah.
And I talk about that a lot,
And what do you think about when you see women, single moms, and I'm not a single mom. I am married and I have 2 kids, and I mean my hats do go off to single moms who have to do it alone. But I do get annoyed when I hear single moms wish themselves Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It takes, the best parent is both parents.
Yes.
And so, you play in the role as a father, but you're not a father. And,
and we could never be a father.
No, right.
We could be the best mom ever.
Yeah, and sometimes they feel like, for whatever reason, they don't want the father involved. And sometimes he don't want to be involved. I'm not blaming the single moms for that. Because sometimes the guy don't want to be involved. But stop using the kid as a switch to beat the other parent. Both people do that. Yeah, quick story. When I was coming up, my mom was sending us to the woods to get a switch. And, it was an art to get the switch. You didn't get one too small because you want it to break, but not on the first hit. You didn't get one too big because you want it to break. And so 2 things I always remember. Number 1, the switch always hurt. And number 2, the switch always broke. When we use the kids to beat the other parent, it's going to hurt the other parent.
Yes.
But the kid becomes the switch, and it's the kid that breaks.
Yes.
So when mom tell the husband, because you got a new girlfriend now, I'm not going to let little Jimmy go to your house anymore. You're using the kid as a switch to beat the dad.
Yes.
It's going to hurt the father, but it's little Jimmy who's going to break.
Yes, it really is.
The same thing with the guys. Take me off of child support. If you don't, I ain't going to come pick Jimmy up. I'm not going to spend no time with him until you take me off of child support. He's also using the kid to beat the mom. It hurts the mom, but it's little Jimmy who's going to break. So we have got to find out a way to co-parent together. And that's why part of our 12-week evidence-based program is we give tools of how to co-parent. And I would tell them to figure out a way to get back before the judge. If you need to get back in the custody court, to get joint custody for your child, whether it's visitation rights or whether it's joint custody, and start being a present father.
And keeping your promises too.
Consistency is important. If you tell little Jimmy you're going to pick him up at 4 o'clock on Friday, you pick him up at 4 o'clock on Friday. If you can't, you make sure you call him and tell him why you didn't. But had him sitting with his book bag, waiting for you to show up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and you don't show up. And then, you get mad with her because she calling you all kind of names, and you want to blame her. I tell guys all the time, they say, my ex-wife is bad-mouthing me, and I said, make sure that what she's saying about you is not true. Because if it is, you don't have a leg to stand on. She might be wrong for telling it, but you're just wrong because she's telling the truth. So show up, be consistent. Because if you're consistent over here, there's a good chance you're consistent in other areas in your life. But if you're inconsistent over there, it's the same, likewise.
That's true. So how does this consistency and a father being consistently present in a child's life, how does that impact a child's future success?
Absolutely. It got a serious impact. That my father, the whole song's about Papa was a Rolling Stone, wherever we sing that song and the beat sound good, but we don't need a Rolling Stone. I need you to be consistent. And that stability grows up in a child's life, that this man was consistent. And that pans out in other areas in his life. So consistent, being stable is very important. Women, we all like consistency.
Yeah, we do.
Our payday is our payday.
Yes.
So 15th and the 30th. Suppose you got paid 15th one month and the 20th for the other month. That inconsistency would drive you crazy. Right? So consistency across the board is important. It's the foundation. So if you're inconsistent, your foundation and your kids are growing up on an unstable foundation. And that's not a house. The cosmetics could be jacked up, but if the foundation is good. But you can have the cosmetics on the house if the foundation is cracked, and everybody got to get out of the house because it could be dangerous. The foundation has got to be strong. So consistency is the foundation.
So do you think consistency is the one thing that a child needs most from their father, or is there something else?
They need presence.
Presence.
They need consistency, and they need affirmation.
Affirmation, yes.
Our daughters need to know affirmation. Fathers bring, I'm not saying mom doesn't either.
Yeah.
But fathers bring affirmation. When I was coming up, we were dating little girls, and the girl down the street, she's pretty, but her daddy's in her life. Little Sue over here, she all right. She ain't pretty as this girl is. She's not as fine as, but her daddy in her life. Which one you think I'm going to go to?
To the one that doesn't have the daddy.
Exactly.
And that's why I try to tell my daughter, who's 15, she wants a little boyfriend now, but she don't have a boyfriend because as soon as they realize, like, the father's there, the mom's there, they're strict, they have guidelines.
Exactly, because they realize, I can't pull a game on daddy.
Yes.
I can't pull the game because he knows what I'm about.
Exactly. He knows how high school boys are.
Exactly. He knows. So this little girl who don't have a father,
wow,
she looked for that affirmation.
Yes.
And it's going to come from that knucklehead who's got one thing on his mind. And she's going to give in because she needs that affirmation, and he's going to bring it. That's why, Father, even if whether you living in a household or not, that doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter to some degree, but because you separate and divorced, doesn't mean that you can't affirm your daughter. You got all these ways of communication, through Facebook, through text. Affirm we all want affirmation.
And what does affirming look like? Is it just presence or just
it's
words?
Presence, it's word, it's all of it. It's showing up. It's being available. It's telling you, baby, you're doing a good job. I know you're struggling with this, but how can we help you? It's presence. Presence means everything. Presence come with affirmation. Affirmation comes with presence.
Your presence, you're making me, like I said, reflect again about my 80-year dad. Sorry to bring you here, Dad, in this conversation, but I mean, his presence to me, like he wasn't the most like lovey-dovey, nurturing man, but I could count on him.
Right.
Like you said, he was consistent.
Right.
And then you feel secure.
Right.
You feel confident.
Right.
Yeah, like as a woman growing up.
At school, Bob comes to school all day, every day. Mom's okay. But when the father shows up in the classroom, that's another whole story.
Yes, it is.
When he shows up, because he brings not something different from mom, but something that only a father can bring.
Yes.
And when he shows up, sometimes the bullying stops. Because if I know dad is showing up, let me leave you alone. Sometimes when women go to get their car fixed, the mechanic but if a man shows up,
yes,
the story may change because we bring a presence. That's why I tell guys the best parent is both parents. You both need to be involved in the education of your kids.
yes,
You both need to be involved. And that's why fathers can't be left out of the education system as well.
yes,
When the IEP is done, he needs to know.
yes,
He needs to have access
and know what
to
it
the
means.
record and know what it means.
So what can like let's say there's a man listening to you, or maybe a woman that's listening this morning to what you're saying, and there's somebody in their life that they're like, oh wow, I wish the man in my life, the man that I love, can hear this. Like, how do can we direct them to Forever Fathers Forever?
Yes.
Or how do we support Fathers Forever?
Yes, we have classes 1 day a week on Mondays.
Okay.
We had a Zoom class every Saturday morning. We shut that down for the summer.
Okay.
But we're gonna reserve that, bring that back, probably back in the fall. We have a fatherhood textbook now. We're redoing now because we write. So we can order the textbook. There's a way that you could just go to our website, www.afatherforever.com. You can call our office, area code 919-779-9905, and speak to one of the counselors there. We can give you information about how to get involved in our fatherhood program.
Great. I think this is just so important, this work that you're doing. It's just so important on so many levels. Because like you were saying, I mean, God created something good. Yeah, I'm a Christian, so I bring God into it. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But, God created something amazing when he created fathers.
Yes.
It's the natural hierarchy
Yes.
of leadership.
Yes.
And then even though, our sin and our bad choices may have broken up families,
Right.
there's still that redemption there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that redemption?
So what I tell men that God shared his name with us.
Yes.
He gave us the title of Father. Father is an originator, but he also sustained what he originated. The Bible also called the devil a father. He's the father of lies. He's the originator, and we know he sustained that. So the foundation of, and I don't get into the women's lib and all of that stuff, but God created man first, and out of that came the woman, and out of that came the kids,
Yes.
out of that came the family, out of that came our community, our cities, our states, our countries. If we got problems in our countries, we got to go back to the state, back to the city, back to the neighborhood, back to the family, back to the father.
Yes.
because that's where it originated. That's the foundation. And oftentimes now we have got it backwards. We are we need to fix the fathers. We need to help them get on track. We're doing so much work cleaning up the aftermath of fatherlessness. We're not doing nearly enough in the intervention or the prevention. I think our statistics, 1 out of 4 kids in America is going to the household without their father.
Wow.
That's nearly 19 million kids every single day wake up in a household without their father. That's 25% of our society. How do we reduce that?
Yes, how do we do that?
Well, I wrote a book called Imagine a World Where Every Child Has Their Father. And I talked about initiated intervention. It's when we get on board and initiate an intervention. To get spiritual with you, John 3:16 is one of the most memorized scripture in the Bible. Not only in just the Bible, but in most religions, everybody know what John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son. We all could say, for God so loved the world, he intervened. The power of intervention. And that's what we have to do. We have to intentionally intervene and show fathers how to be fathers. You know, I don't care what people said, know what people said about COVID, how it came, whatever. But we put some intervention in place.
Yeah, we did.
We did the vaccination, and we did the 6 feet apart. It took us a while.
And the mask.
And the mask.
Yeah.
It took us a while, but that intervention stopped the spread of COVID because we did a powerful intervention. When we decide we wanted to reduce the devastation of fatherlessness and start doing the intervention, we could turn this thing around. Yeah. You know, we got to have your glass of juice. It falls over on the floor, and you got your mops, and you're cleaning the floor, the table, and the floor up. And the more you spill, the more flowing out. Because we forgot to stand the glass up. And the glass is the Father's. Until we stand them up, and until we fix the foundation, we're only cleaning up the aftermath. But once we fix that, then we could do the cleanup. Once we start doing the intervention and the prevention, we can reduce fatherlessness significantly.
Well, I know you stated earlier that, women, we are not mothers to the men in our lives, right? We're mothers to our sons, but we're not mothers to our husbands, right? So we are also not fixers either, right?
No, right.
Yeah,
right.
So we're not fixers either, and we can't fix. So it's
Right.
up to the man, right, to want to take that step.
Right, and it's also for men, sometimes we want to fix stuff for y'all. Sometimes you just want us to listen.
Yeah.
Stop trying, it's like, man, stop trying to fix her problem.
Yeah.
She don't need a fixer either. She just needs you to listen. Be supportive.
Yeah.
And both of us have to do that.
Yes.
We can't fix one. We can help one another, but I don't have all the answers to your problem.
Yeah.
And for me to try to say, this is how you need to do that. We need to find out how to communicate and how to talk and how to support one another without trying to fix all of our problems.
Yes. So I like that your work is about healing fathers, but it also leads to strengthening families.
Yes.
Because like you said, that family unit has to be strengthened. And there are so many systems like public housing, subsidized housing, whether the man has a felony or not, like if there's additional income that they can count, the woman may get disqualified,
right?
For the subsidy. So
right.
So many things in our society that we have to conquer. And one thing is something that we've seen nationally, the headlines of being able to raise boys in today's America.
Right.
I mean, what do you think young boys are facing today that maybe previous generations did not face?
The absence of father have obviously gone up.
Yeah.
With the internet, with a lot of the game bang stuff. Our kids, I was growing up, we didn't, chewing gum was an issue. Now it's the internet and the pressure that our teens have on social media, the bullying and all that, trying to be perfect. Not just our teens, but we all adults, trying to impress people on Facebook and all that stuff plays into a kid, little boys growing up and trying to be and because of the absent fathers have gotten greater and greater and greater. When little girls grow up, they've been taught how to be a mom from a very little age. They watch mom in the kitchen cooking, and they start to imitate mom. They got their little tea set,
their little baby dolls.
Little baby dolls. Mom is showing them, how to put, makeup. She's watching mom. She's putting makeup on the baby doll. She's coming to her. She's been taught how to be a mother from a very, very, very early age. She get older. Eventually, she put the toys away. Her mom now shows her how to take her herself, how to take her to the doctor when the time, how to go through the change of life. Mom is there showing her step by step what to do. When she get pregnant, mom is there to help her nurture the child. When she get married, the mom is there to help her. She's been watching mom all these many years, learning how to be a mom from a very, very, very early age. Now take little Jimmy. Dad is not there. So what kind of toys we buy little Jimmy? We buy little Sue, baby dolls and all that stuff. What we buy little Jimmy? We buy him guns, which is okay, BB gun, cap guns, water guns. We buy him football. We buy him basketball. All that stuff we buy him, and rightfully so. We don't need to buy him a baby doll. We need to buy him boy stuff. But after a while, little Jimmy don't know when, because his father haven't dared to teach him when to put his guns away. So by the time he's 18 years old now, he got two guns. One in the back of his pants, where he do a drive-by, and one in the front of his pants. Now he got 3 kids by the time he's 19 years old. Because the father's not there to show him when to put his toys away and when to use them. And because of that, the absence of fathers have grown tremendously in the area, and we have got to do the intervention. Part of our problem is we got to fix the intervention part. That's what's going to stop it. And if we don't do that, then it's going to keep escalating.
Well, then, speaking of which, what you're saying, like the boys are with the guns, because if the father's not there, there's somebody on a corner, it could be a drug dealer, that's trying to be that role model.
Exactly, and they are. Because now that's where he get the 2 guns from. The one in the back of his pants is on the drive-by. Because, men have to be a part of something bigger than we are.
Yes.
That's why we could talk about the Dallas Cowboys like it's ours.
You're a Dallas fan?
Yeah. So we got to be something, you ladies can go to the beach and just hang out and do nothing. We can't do that. I'm not going to hang out at the beach unless we're going to chase the women. We're not doing that. Because we have to be bigger, a part of something that bigger. That's why the game appealed to us and appealed to the guys, because we got to be a part of something. We got to be a part of the club. And when fathers are not there, little Jimmy feels like the gang is the club. And no, I might die and I got to go rob people, but that's at least I'm part of something. And that's why they join the club. Yeah.
And they're also, sounds like, trying to be strong. So how do we teach boys, or how does a father teach his son emotional intelligence without making them feel weak, like if someone tries to bully them?
By watching his father, being present. How his father deal with conflict. How he deal with disagreements with his mom. What did he do? Did he cuss her out? Did he scream? Did he yell? Did he hit? We have to practice. And when we're practicing to doing the right thing in front of our kids, I tell people some things are taught and some things are caught. We teach stuff in the textbook, but stuff that are caught is what we do every day It's our sons watch us deal with conflict. Our families watch us how we deal with
Yes.
situations.
Yes.
Those lessons are just as important as lessons in the textbook.
Okay, well, and this is just a general question because a lot of fathers and mothers, we all as parents we're dealing with some challenging times. So how can fathers maybe talk honestly about race without raising children to live in fear?
How it could be taught.
Yeah, how can fathers talk to their sons or their children, period, daughters, about the issue of race in America
Yes.
without teaching them to live in fear?
Right. I mean, you can let your kids be aware that we all know sometimes things are not fair. What do you do when you get stopped by a cop?
Yes.
What is the proper way without being intimidated and without shaking, even I'm a grown man. When I get stopped by a cop, I'm still nervous. So I'm not going to tell him not to be nervous because that's going to happen. Protect themselves, but at the same time, do safety things. And respect.
Yes.
When we teach our kids how to disrespect authority, we setting them up to be hurt by police officers because they're going to disrespect the police officer, and we know what that could mean. So we show them how to be respectful for not just mom and dad, but the teachers and police officers as well. So we had to teach them how to be respectful, and just some things that we have to have these conversations with them on a regular basis. Okay. What are some of your fears? What are some of what are you struggling with? And I think the conversation that we have, not just one time, but over and over and over and over again.
Over again, yeah.
Just take them out that one-on-one time with them and just those life lessons. Sometimes at the kitchen table. I'll just talk about current affairs. Sometimes taking a situation like this situation we talked about earlier, let it be a talking point. Instead of running from it, let's lean into it, and let's talk about this. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you. This is just. I mean, I can talk to you for days about fathers. I think the work that you're doing is so needed. Especially right before Father's Day.
Yes,
having a deeper appreciation for fathers, and right before the walkathon that Choice FM 92.1 is going to be doing. So we're excited about doing that
as well. We
next weekend. Yeah. So you're going to be a part of it, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to be there with bells on.
Okay, awesome. So we want to tell the listeners this is next weekend, right?
Yes.
Father's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Is it next Saturday?
Yeah, wow. It's that's going to be June 20th, guys.
Next Saturday. Yes.
Yeah, Choice FM 92.1.
We're going to be there. We're going to be there, and I want to invite everybody to come out and be a part of this. This is I love what Chuck and you guys are doing, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys chose us to be a part of this, and
yes,
I'm very excited about it, and we're going to make it happen.
And so, say your website again. Like if anyone wants to, give a donation or support your organization.
www.afatherforever is our website. Our number is 919-779-9905. A Father Forever is spelled just like it sounds. afatherforever.com.
Okay, y'all hear that, listeners? This is amazing organization, amazing mission. Sounds like an amazing ministry that Dr. Warren is doing. And I just want to thank you for being on the show today to ground the important issue that we all should care about, and that is men's health.
Yes.
And also building our men up, be it a husband, spouse, brother, father. We should support this, right? And so, Ben, if you're listening and this touched you today, I hope you will reach out. Dr. Warren, I do want to close our conversation because, we got to go. I got to land this plane. Yes. So, but thank you again for being here. I've enjoyed this conversation so much. Yeah. Listeners, today's conversation reminds us that fatherhood is much more than biology. It's about presence. It's about guidance. It's about accountability. And it is about healing. It's about healing, y'all. And there's nothing wrong with healing. There's nothing wrong with crying. And there's nothing wrong with making a bad choice as long as you realize it was a bad choice and not a mistake. That's one of the things that we learned today. So I hope you guys, I hope this show today resonated with you. I hope you will reach out to Dr. Warren, and if you don't, support his organization. If you're a man, I hope you will come and check out the Instagram page of I Love Choice FM, and you can see more information about the walkathon that's happening. Hope you will participate and come out. But as always, this has been a show to not just talk about rights, but strengthen our families. When we strengthen our families, we strengthen our communities, we strengthen our causes. We are able to collectively get things done that could be transformational, not just for us, but for the world. So I'm Yolanda Taylor with All Rights Reserved. I want you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday, but don't go anywhere. Stay right here to 92.1 FM, the People's Choice Station. See you next time.
All rights reserved with Yolanda Taylor on Choice.